Welcome back. Today we are going to be ranking all of the palettes that I tried in the month of December. There's some freaking gems in here, but there are some that are not as good. And if you want to hear my thoughts on these, then just keep watching. Welcome back to my channel, but if this is your first time here, hi, my name is Heather Eaglin. I love all things makeup, especially colorful makeup and indie brands. If you guys love those things too, I really hope you will subscribe and click the little bell so you can be notified of all my future uploads. Now, let's go ahead and get into today's video. December was a kind of slow month for releases, but this month I tried 11 palettes, and some of these I really love, but some of these not so much. Starting with palette number 11, we have the Melt Fatally Yours. Now I will say, like, the packaging on this is very nice. The color story is beautiful as well. I really loved it. That's why I picked it up. And the formula is actually really good too. So you might be wondering why this ranked last out of all of these palettes. And the reason for that would be it oxidizes so bad that all of the colors are really deep and they look very similar. It's kind of hard to get different types of looks out of this. The glitter gels with it burnt my eyes so bad. Like I said, I love the color story of this enough to pick it up. Plus, I really love Bailey Sarian's content, but I was really disappointed when the shadows oxidized the way they did. None of them look like they do in the pan, and I can't recommend this palette. This is one of the few that I actually can't recommend this month. Coming in at number 10, we have the ColourPop Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer palette. This palette is really pretty. I had no trouble with it at all. I will say these eyeshadows are pigmented, but they're not pigmented in the way like GLAMLITE is. It's more of a buildable formula. It's more of a dusty texture, and it's not my type of color story. But to be honest, I hadn't purchased a ColourPop palette all year, and I was just really missing them, so I picked it up. I really do love the looks that I created with this. I have looks on all of these palettes on my channel as well if you guys are interested in like really seeing my in-depth thoughts. But it's a good palette, but it's not my favorite. I've tried a lot of really good ones this month, so based on color story alone, I had to rank it a little lower. And the same goes with number 9. It's the GLAMLITE Hershey's Cookies and Cream. I do like this because it goes from very light to very dark. I love the bluish grays, but when it's compared to the other palettes that I've tried this month, I had to rank it a little lower. But I do think this palette is really good quality and worth the money, so I recommend this one as well. Coming in at number 8, we have the BLENDBUNNY MACHINA palette. This palette is beautiful. I really love the artwork on it. The color story is gorgeous, and I love the looks that I created with this. I will just say this is more of a dustier formula, and while you can create gorgeous looks with this, I don't think it's like beginner friendly by any means. It is in the way that it's laid out. It's just when I was creating my looks, I did have to work a little harder to get the look to achieve the look that I was looking for, but it's still a beautiful palette, and I am glad I picked it up. It's just BLENDBUNNY doesn't have my favorite formula, and I know that's a very like unpopular opinion. Most people really love BLENDBUNNY. That's why it's really important, I think, when you're trying to gather your thoughts on a palette or a product, it's good to watch videos from several different people because we all have different opinions. A lot of people really love that palette, but for me, it's just not my vibe. Coming in at number 7, we have the GLAMLITE Chucky palette. This was actually released on Valentine's Day of last year, and I didn't pick it up at the time, but I picked it up recently. I haven't done a look with this one on my channel, but if you guys would like to see something, just let me know and I'll be more than happy to do it. I really love this palette. My only like issue with it is that it doesn't go light enough, but you know, that's just my preference. But I still think this palette is gorgeous and I love the look that I created with it. I just think it's beautiful, and honestly I wish I would have picked it up sooner. Such a good one, and I love the lenticular packaging. Coming in at number 6, we have the Oden's Eye Christmas palette. I really love this palette, and the only reason it is placed at number 6 is solely based on color story. I love the Oden's Eye eyeshadow formula. I think this color story is beautiful. It's just that my top 5 I do prefer more, but I just think this one was gorgeous and I really loved working with it. My only issue with it is I wish there was a lighter inner corner that wasn't cool toned, because it kind of accentuates the darkness under my eyes. So I would rather there be like a white in there, but that's just a me preference. A lot of people will love it for what it is. Coming in at number 5, we have the Gourmand Girls Silent Night palette. This palette is so beautiful. And when I seen the picture of this, I had already owned this one. And while they do look very similar, on the eye, they are completely different. Even I thought they were the same color story, but I'm here to say I was wrong. I really freaking love this palette. This is my first time trying Gourmand Girls, and this is one of the better eyeshadow formulas I've tried. The mattes are really pigmented, really easy to blend. The shimmer shades are so freaking spectacular. I love them so much. They are just gorgeous. And I really can't wait to see what they release in 2024. And I hope I get to try more of the palettes. I highly recommend this one, and I'm pretty sure it is still available. You probably have already seen the look I created with it as well. That video should already have went live. Coming in at number 4, we have the GLAMLITE Garfield palette. This too has a really great formula. I freaking really love the color story, and I have already posted a video on this one. This palette was so unexpected, but I'm so glad they released it. It's one of my favorite palettes that they've released in a little bit. I also think it would pair really well with the Chucky palette. It goes from really light to really dark. I love the shimmers that they have in here. I think it's just a beautiful curated palette, and I highly recommend it. Now we are down to my top 3, which you can already see here. And coming in at number 3, we have the Oden's Eye Merry Christmas palette. This was a freaking good one. Unfortunately, it is no longer available. The 2 newer ones from this year still are, but this one and the Christmas Eve are not. But I really love this. It goes from really light to really dark. I like the different types of shimmer formulas in here. I had such a fun time working with it, and I don't think you guys have seen it yet, but I just filmed a bingo with the 2 Christmas palettes and the 2 Angelica palettes, and I'm so excited for you guys to see that look because it's amazing. But I had such a great time with this one. Coming in at number 2 is another new brand that I tried this month. This is the Simply Posh Aurora Lights palette. This palette is amazing. I really, really love the shimmers. I think it's like the standout of the formulas that they have in here. The mattes are really good too. They're pigmented and buildable. They're like a dusty. They're kind of dusty though, if that makes sense. I didn't have any issues with fallout. It's just like a thinner formula. I think dusty would just be a bad way to describe it. But this palette is freaking amazing, and I'm so glad I picked it up. I cannot wait to see what else they release. The shimmer formula, like I said, is out of this world. And I really like that the palette is magnetic. That way people can rearrange it or whatever. It's beginner friendly. You could stick with the color stories down the rows, so you don't really have to think about what you want to do. I just had a great time with this one, and I'm so glad I picked it up. I have a bad habit of like sticking with my favorite brands. I'm very brand loyal, but if something's bad, it's bad, and I don't care to say, but I am brand loyal. And where I do buy all of my palettes at this point, and I don't get PR, I kind of have to be picky with what I'm picking up, and like financially anyways, and that makes it a little harder to reach out and try new brands. but I did this month, and I'm so freaking glad that I did, because those 2 palettes that I picked up were amazing. But none of them beats this one. This is my #1 palette. This is the Cosmic Beauty Winter Wonderland, and this palette is heaven. It is so beautiful. I really love the purples, the teals, and the blues. Now, if you don't like blues and purples and teals, you won't like this palette. But she has one of the best eyeshadow formulas that I have ever tried. I love them so much. They're so pigmented and blendable. And I feel like this palette was made for me. It is absolutely perfect. It goes from light to dark. And we have 2 multi-chromes in here. The Shadow Atmosphere, and then we have Winter Solstice. And these are freaking breathtaking. I don't know if you could see them. Yes. They are just so stunning, and she has 4 palettes out right now. No, 5. And I highly recommend you guys pick one up, because they are absolutely incredible. That is it. That's the end of the video. These are all the palettes that I tried in December, and I loved so many of them. I don't regret any of them except for the Fatally Yours palette, simply because of the oxidizing thing, and I've not heard anyone else talk about that in their videos, so it kind of makes me wonder if I just got a bad palette or what. I don't know, but I really appreciate you guys watching this video all the way to the end. And like I said, if I don't already have videos on these palettes, then you can expect them soon, because I have already filmed them all, as I am pre-filming. But thank you guys again for everything. I hope you subscribe and click the little bell so you could be notified of all my future uploads. And until next time, bye.